It's funny because I'm already working on a new intro for us as we continue to move forward. But hey, everybody! Tonight we're having a special one shot, which is more surprising to me than the players.
Extra, super special. We're actually in the plan to fight some giant owl somewhere. The superb owl. We're supposed to take them on.
Is that the plan? The superb owl?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the nemesis of that Eric Cochran guy.
I don't know about that. I was thinking something a little bit more lethal to make sure. See, now Eric's bringing Scrat. So now I got to worry if Scrat gets killed, what is that going to mean? Unless we all agree that Scrat is a lich, so that when he dies, he goes back to his phylactery and reforms. We can always do that.
Wait, is that
I don't know why. It may just be I haven't restarted this laptop in a while, but I cannot read y'all's names. So Kurt, you're the same one shot you were last time, right?
Yeah,
Zordon.
So
also, Serge, I remember if you kill off Scrat, I'll just bring in Giancarlo. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it, man.
That's fair.
It's kind of like an incentive, though, right? That's not a. You're incentivizing it, not de-incentivizing it.
I'm totally gonna fucking do it, man.
Yeah, but I love Scrat.
I know you do, because I think Scrat is secretly a combination of your Tabaxi and Professor Jalbatros.
No.
Wise, but absolutely lethal at the same time.
No, he is chaotic, but that's the only thing he's really kind of got with Spot, because he's a coward and he's super dexterous, but no, I'm from range and fuck that shit, and I'll just leave. I have no honor. It's fine.
What class is Desmond? Rogue? Straight rogue?
Yeah. He is a rogue. I feel like if we have too many rogues, I can also do the other characters, so no worries.
No, it's fine. I'm a druid, so I'm trying to suss out how we're gonna do in a fight.
Oh, you assume there's gonna be a fight? That's intriguing.
When the DM talks about lethality, yes, I assume there's gonna be a fight.
Oh, maybe we'll see how it goes.
Otherwise, some really poor rolls for everything else.
The question is tonight: do we want to use AP or do we want to use the traditional rules or traditional mechanics?
I think we used AP before.
I'm just asking in general. We've been using AP since the beginning of the campaign. So I was just curious.
AP's fine. That's what we used last time. So
yeah,
okay.
I think the difference is these are pure 24 characters.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Whereas the other ones are kind of
pure 24. Yeah.
Yeah, where the other ones are kind of a bit of a mix.
Yeah. Which makes playing a little harder.
Desmond.
Yes.
There is sand in your mouth.
Oh, great.
You're struggling to breathe.
Why? I haven't even started. Why am I dying?
You find yourself pulling up through the sand, and as you're pulling yourself up through the sand, you hit a piece of wood. You pull yourself up more. Give me athletics or acrobatics check, if you would, please.
I'll do acrobatics, and that's 24 at 25.
Yeah, 25. You use the debris pile that's also in the sand as a way to leverage yourself up. And you cough as you kind of break through the surface of the sand, and you're kind of holding on to the edge. And all around you is the airship in ruins. You could just see the detritus and the debris from its impact. You're not even really sure how you survived, but you did. And as you pull yourself up out of the sand, over by a debris pile, you see a familiar person. Kurt, describe your character and what you look like.
Yep. So, Zordon Kilsek is a member of the, or formerly at least a member of the Hubatt Corsairs. He's a half drow, and he's taken a liking to the spider motif. So he likes bugs. He likes to be creepy, and he likes to expand on that. But he's wearing some leather armor with the spider motif on it. But he's of course I forget the druid circle now. He's it's not Twilight, but the same thing. Sorry, I'm blanking on it. Oh gosh. Where's my druid class? Well, his druid class, he can transform into his starry form, so he gives this like Twilight aesthetic. But he typically likes the dark, and so being in the middle of a bright and scorching desert is not fun for him right now.
Yeah. As you come crawling out under some of the wrecked airship debris, you see Desmond across from you. Desmond, describe what you look like as Zordon sees you walking towards him.
Desmond looked like a very unassuming dude. Kind of like somebody who would maybe you wouldn't like, kind of like a do-gooder rat type, who would absolutely tattle. He is wearing the uniform of just like kind of a foot soldier that's, monitoring Jrusar, and he's looking like he's about to cry.
For you, Scrat, it is just this dark, sandy existence as you finally begin to pull yourself out from underneath the rubble. You heave some of the rubble off and away from you. Your nose kind of pops up through the sand first, and then the rest of you pops up through the sand. You guys look over to your left to see this like coughing, rat-looking individual who is crawling out of the sand from underneath the debris pile. Scrat, describe what you look like.
Scrat is the ultimate, like, what you would think of if someone's just take a 4'6" sewer rat. He is just unkempt, mangy. He's got like not really. You can't call it a mohawk.
Who you calling unkempt and mangy, you dour fuck?
Yeah, but he's got what would ordinarily be called a mohawk, but that's just how his hair grows. He's he's incredibly skinny, like not quite skeletal, but you get the sense that if he missed like 2 more meals, he'd be right there. And he's wearing this coat that who knows what color it originally was. It's all patches, and he's got 2 rifles slung over his back and just random accoutrements hanging from his belt.
As Scrat comes up from underneath the rubble and then sees the other two, the 3 of you gather. The sudden realization for Zordon and Scrat is a little bit more concerning than it is for Desmond. Desmond, you were simply hitching a ride to Ankarel. You had no intent of joining these two, but here they are. They seem to be the only survivors of the airship crash that you were involved in. As far as you're concerned, just getting to Ankarel was your focus. But here you sit in the bright, hot afternoon day of the Anarok Desert, or I had Faerun on my mind, of the Rumadan Desert, and you're many weeks away from both Jrusar and many weeks away from Ankarel. Here you are in the middle of it all, no intended consequence other than the fact that there's a talking rat and a creepy guy who seems to have magical inclination, but constantly kind of puts his hands up over his eyes as the place is entirely too bright. But you then watch as Zordon, as he introduces himself to you, kind of unfold a small parchment, a small scroll spindle. And as he unfolds it, Zordon, it's the original information you got from Fabian. Something about a mysterious bastion in the middle of the Hellcatch Valley. While you were expecting a stopover in Bassaris some 5-6 days northeast of here, at best guess. You too find yourself well short of your intended destination and not entirely sure what to do. Scrat is still alive. Fabian is back in Jrusar, your other contact through the Chandei Quorum, back there as well. But for now, it's just the three of you, middle of the desert, hot afternoon. What would you guys like to do next?
Scracked, you survived. Wonderful. And you are...
What happened? Do you guys know what happened? Is everyone okay?
alive. We'll just call you alive for now.
Okay, well that's good.
I mean, Scratch just looks over at Source and it's like, I mean, if that changes, dibs. I'm calling that now. Oh, oh shit. I did not say that in Undercommon, did I? Sorry. Hi.
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Yeah, like Desmond's just like trying to wake up from this nightmare.
You know that's actually kind of a lie. If you hit things, it doesn't actually tenderize. Like, never mind.
You don't want to eat me, rats.
No, I don't want to eat you. But I will.
Oh, poison.
You're right. I don't. But I mean, much like that. What's that source? Who's that human guy that I hate? You know, he's got that like really weird distribution thing going through a lot of. Joe Alexson, that guy. Yeah, like him. I don't want to, but I'll eat him.
Do you guys? Is there like a black box in this thing? Can we call for help?
Not likely. So, I don't know what you were doing on the airship, but Scrack and I were given a task, and that task is one that must be seen through. So, the quicker we get our bearings and figure out where we are, the faster we can move on to the next location.
Hey, okay, I guess I'll just go with you guys, and when we get to a city, I can maybe call for help or something.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Sure, certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like traveling with a Kardashian.
A city. We'll absolutely find a city.
There's just desolation everywhere. Yeah, as soon as we get to the city, it'll be fine.
We'll find a city, and when we find a city, yes, of course, sure, certainly. I work my spider out. I work my spider out and just kind of like get him on the ground and just try and have him scouring the area for anything throughout the airship ruins that we might be able to pick up to call some kind of location of where we are to kind of get oriented.
Yeah, give me perception or investigation as you do this.
Yeah. Let me see which one's going to be better for this. Perception for sure. Investigation not bad, but perception for sure.
Okay.
Wow. Glad I chose perception because that's a 14.
14.
Roll a 6.
It's a pretty significant amount of debris. As you kind of look through the debris field of the impact, you barely find maybe 3 days worth of food and water. You locate, you still have your weapons on you. Desmond and Scrat have your original weapons as well. You find maybe some basic camping gear, some basic climbing gear, just random assorted kind of like basic equipment that you might need for this part of a journey that's kind of been like just thrusted upon you. And although from Bassaris, your intent is to find this strange bastion that Fabian has asked you to locate, there's a sense that maybe Fabian didn't kind of give you all the information that you wanted, but you know that you're within, the last time you checked your map before the airship crashed, you know that you're within at least 5 to 7 days of where Bassaris is, which means you're a good 5 days away from where Jrusar is. and probably a good 15 days away from where you believe Ankarel might be, the jewel of the Ronodam Desert and the known seat of power of Chamansa Ord, as they are currently in Jrusar, based on your last bit of memory within Jrusar. And while Fabian was very explicit about finding this location, he didn't really have a lot more to offer you, because the information that he had received was kind of limited. The companions of the prancing centaur had sent some of this information over to him, but not enough to give him a full understanding of what to expect. Give me a survival check, Scrat and Zordon, as you begin to try to orient the location that you're in.
Jeez.
Can I just say that my character has a -1 for survival, so I don't know if he's going to survive this.
City
I have
boy.
I have a +5, but I rolled.
I have a
two,
+9.
I got a 7
out of 25.
25. So while Zordon is gathering up some basic traveling gear, enough to keep you guys in food and water for a few days, some climbing gear and camping gear that he begins to kind of disperse amongst each of you. Scrat, looking on the northeast horizon, you can see the beginning glints of a break of mountainscape, a horizon of mountainscape that tells you that's the beginning pathway that starts taking you in the right direction of the Hellcatch. The amount of sand and desert that you're looking at now tells you you're in that in-between point. It looks like a good solid day or two of travel to get to those mountains. That should give you an opportunity to reorient and see if you can find a way into the Hellcatch.
Can I take a look at the wreckage itself?
Sure. Investigation or
Okay.
perception?
All right, let me see. I'm not used to what the Scrat has. Investigation.
I'm not used to
I
scratch.
had to get back into this same thing.
Sure. Ooh, +9. Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah,
I
we're
know,
doing that,
and-
baby.
All right. That is an 11 on perception. No, I'm sorry.
11.
That is a 13 on perception. I can add. Math's hard.
Scanning through the debris and rubble, is there anything specific that you're trying to find or look for?
Okay. I'm going to turn to Sorzan and just be like, okay, I have an idea. Read this in a comic like pamphlet that from like 50. Do you ever read Journey of the Jormungandr? It's exactly this situation. Like an airship crashes in the desert, like days and days away from any civilization. There's like 5 survivors. One of them is some random nobody that may or may not be a former member of a unwanted political party in a yeah. But anyway, he designs toy airships, and he's able to like cobble together a mini airship out of the wreckage. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, I mean, it's not like we're gonna die here, and it's gonna
Correct.
suck the entire time we're dying. But I want to see if maybe we can like cobble together, like I don't know, some kind of skiff or like sailor kind of thing out of the wreckage here, because you know, don't get me wrong, like I'm going to survive as long as I can. Like I have, well, no, I'm not going to say these things out loud, but I'm surviving longer than you all. So it's in your interest to help me out with this. That's all I'm saying.
Scrat. Okay, so just a moment, and I'm going to. I need to take a look real quick and look it up, but let's see what I can. Let's see. I think it's. Those are all small things. I can wild shape myself into a horse. So to pull stuff, right? So
Yeah.
so Scrat. Perhaps we just put together a raft of some kind, and I'll pull the load and do all the heavy lifting.
Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Hey, Desmond, can you come here for a minute?
Kind of step backwards.
No, it's fine. Just he said he's turning into a horse if he breaks a leg or something, I can, maybe a day or two.
This is like in Survivor when like one person is all looking to betray everybody 5 seconds into being on the island.
Welcome to Scratch.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Zordon is starting to pull some like a couple of bigger but like curved pieces of the airship so that it'll move over the dunes easier, and trying to find some rope that he could tie himself to.
Yeah, Scrat wants to kind of like run through the rubble into all the little places where Sorzan is too big and try to find some lightweight things that we can use for runners or some cabling that we can use for ropes, things like that.
Okay. I mean, you find a lot of the basic stuff you might need. It's just there's just so much of it around. It's just nothing overly fancy, but enough of what you need to possibly make the journey. If that's what you're trying to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Look, if I can become the horse, perhaps we can cover more ground faster. So, let's get this together. I'm glad you're skinny. Like I say that looking at Scrat.
Desmond is going to try to use this exchange to see if he can loot anything out of any of the bodies.
Yeah, give me investigation or perception as you start looking around.
Oh, wait, you found bodies? Sweet tips!
Okay, perception. 19.
19? Under some of the debris piles where the impact was, you find the occasional remains. As you search through their remains, you find like 25 silver pieces, a short sword, a couple daggers, a long sword on the back of one of the other crew members. Nothing too valuable or too extreme, but you pick up a few pieces of equipment.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll share those with everyone because they're not great. Oh, you guys, look what I found. We can use that, right? We can maybe like fashion some kind of like sled out of the swords.
Is there enough
resourceful are you?
No, I mean like I'm gonna sit down and think about this. This feels like a good use of everyone's time.
Is there enough fabric, and did we get enough rope that I could potentially fashion a sail out of some of the remnants of the airship?
Are you going to attempt to build a sand skiff? Is that what you're focused on?
Yeah, I was going to try to get something to catch the wind for when it's blowing in appropriate directions, so that presumably Sorzan doesn't, die of exhaustion. At least not the first day.
That's fair. I would say you find enough equipment to assemble a very crude version of the sand skiff. And as long as everyone's kind of helping you fabricate it and put it together, I would say you could probably get it done by nightfall.
Okay, cool.
I'll use Druidcraft to help out with that, because I'm really not keen on actually being the horse, but it seemed like the fastest mode of transportation to get out of here. Or to get moving, I'd say.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Let me see who it is. I'm getting feedback. Is anyone else hearing that feedback from time to time?
I'm getting it too.
I think it's on Kurt's headset, I think. Because I know you're the only one with a sensitivity volume now with your new microphone.
Is it better? Or let me know if it gets any better.
Well, it's not your volume. I think what's happening is when I'm talking to you, because I tend to be a loud talker, it's getting out of your headset and being slightly picked up by your microphone. That happens when you switch from an all-in-one kit to like a dual kit.
I just ran you down. Is that any better?
Yeah, but now I can't hear you.
Oh. Keep playing with it. Let me see.
Ah, yes, the joys of a new microphone. Aren't they fun?
Yeah, I'm playing with all the knobs and whistles. So
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little better.
Oh. A background hum on my side, but it's been there for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm still getting that, a little bit of feedback if I'm too loud, so I'll try and bring it down a bit because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. So with that, you guys spend the day and the remainder of the light of the day using it as a means to gather up rope, using druidcraft, using what little bit of energy and labor you have in you after such a stressful crashing of the air. Oh god, that's gotten worse. Yeah, that is gnarly feedback. I don't know why that's so bad all of a sudden for. And it got worse the closer you got to your microphone. Like as I was narrating and you got close to your microphone, it got worse.
That's wild. Okay, maybe it's feedback. It's got a noise cancellation thing. Maybe that's causing some feedback.
Hold on, let me see your StreamYard setup really quick. No, you're on adjust mic, reduce background, and echo. You're good. So we'll give it a go. But we'll say by the time that the sun sets, the sand skiff is built. And more importantly, I need someone to roll a d20 so we can determine what the weather is going to be like.
Who's feeling lucky? The answer has never
I got
been
a
me.
15.
15?
I got a 15 on that. Yeah.
Okay. It is windy. You can see a storm on the far horizon. So there's definitely a rainstorm moving into the area, but you don't get the feeling that it's an immediate threat. You watch as the anchored sand skiff is being held in place, but the sail is billowing out and filling up with air. So you get the feeling that it's definitely working. Can't hear you.
Yeah, you're.
Here, I'll switch to you.
Yeah, whatever's happened, your microphone's taking a shit. I don't know why, but it's just steadily getting worse. It's weird. That's the problem with microphone setups when if you're not using a setup that those microphones are happy with, they're very unhappy gadgets. Nope, can't hear you.
Oh, because StreamYard muted me when I switched.
There you go. Now you sound great and no feedback.
Old headset, so I gotta work on that on the new setup a bit. So because I can't,
because it's picking me up. Like as soon as you got close to your microphone, it was all my voice was the only thing I could hear.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
So with that, you guys pile onto the skiff with what little bit of gear you have. You watch as Scrat releases the tie down anchor, and you feel the skiff begin to kind of move forward and drag into the sand, leaving a bit of a rooster tail of sand behind you. Scrat, you're dex based, right?
Yes.
Give me a sleight of hand as you are piloting your sand skiff.
While we're doing this,
that is a 30.
Nice.
Damn.
That part of the journey is going off well. Go ahead, Zordon.
Yeah, I'm going to withdraw my spider and recall him, like with ritual casting him as a vulture to give us kind of like eyes in the sky.
He flies up and he's while the sand skiff is maintaining about a 10 knot pace, the vulture's like circling slightly in front of the skiff. Scrat, you have a general idea of the proper direction to go towards the far distant mountain line. As you guys are getting deeper into the night, deeper into the desert, in the direction that you know you want to get to, there's a moment where you feel a slight tremor other than the skiff. And without even realizing it, you come across a berm of desert, tall dunes that were blocking your line of sight. And this huge creature, this massive sauropod of a four-legged like creature, a dinosaur of the desert, suddenly lurches out alongside the desert dune, and then on its back, a community, a village, this huge village on its back. You can see lights lighting it up. You can hear noise and music. This creature's huge head kind of turns down to look at the skiff, but then turns back up and continues its slow kind of lumbering forward motion into the night. Everyone give me history checks to see if you recognize this thing.
All right. What is my history?
No, I don't. I got 4.
14?
15. 1-5.
15. Scrat and Desmond, you recognize it. It is the community known as Rockhaven. It is filled with a large community of gnomes that often travel to the city of Bassaris. You get the feeling that because you've run across this, and if you travel along with it, it will gradually begin to lead you in the direction of Bassaris.
Oh, whoa, we're so lucky, man.
Should we try to hitch a ride, or would you rather stay down here?
Oh no, I'm totally down for hitching a ride. I don't trust anything about that creature there at all. Just laying that out there.
Huh.
You don't trust much of anything, though, Scrat.
I'm an 80-pound rat. No, I don't fucking trust anything.
Right. So the alive one. Would you rather try to ride that or stay where we are?
Oh no. Like I'll happily hitch up to the thing. It's just like I'm gonna keep the sail furled and if anything goes wrong, I'm just gonna shoot off in let's say that direction, that one, that way, like towards the city and stuff. I'm just saying I want to have an escape plan.
I mean, it seems like it would be easy enough to hitch a ride on it without anyone noticing. Hell, maybe they're even nice. You know, some people are nice.
That was more the direction I was asking. I would rather sleep in a bed than. And he just kind of looks at Scrat like very much side eye.
You watch the Scrat.
Man, you two are good friends. I can really read people, and I really envy your friendship. I wish I had a buddy like that. Putting it out there.
You watch a Scrat pilots the air or the sand skiff closer to the beastie, and that's when all three of you see it. Even though it's dark, it's pretty well lit. The creature's well lit. The community on its back is well lit. You look up to see a gnome looking down at you, holding a lantern, and you hear the gnome go, "Ahoy there! Do you wish to come aboard?"
Cheese it, the feds!
Shut up.
No,
Scrat.
I'm a gnome. I don't know what a fed is, but I'm
Yes.
a gnome.
Yes. Sir Gnome, Mr. Gnome. Yes, we would like to come aboard.
We'll drop the dock for you. Hold on. You hear you watch as this huge flywheel unspins, and then gradually this rope system descends down, and a dock unfurls. So it's dragging in the sand. The sand skiff slows down just enough to kind of wedge itself up to the dock, and then you watch as the dock has a secondary rope that attaches to its rear, and the whole platform starts lifting you up until you just you get to a point where right behind you is the eyeball of the creature, and it's massive. It's like 100 feet across. Its eyeball kind of slowly blinks. And it's kind of like a chameleon style eyeball. So while one eye is pointed forward, the other eye pivots to 180 to look directly at you as if it's interested in this strange creature that's crawling up onto its back. But as you feel the rope dock system kind of attach you to the lower part of the community, you feel it kind of lock into place. This young kind of gnome wearing travel leathers, a duster, big floppy hat with a kind of yellow feather coming off of it, and goes, well, welcome to Rockhaven. Come on aboard. Watch yourself there. Good to meet you. Sure. My name's Flop. I'm the dockmaster of Rockhaven. What's your name, sir?
Zordon. Kickback.
And your other friend's name here?
Everyone just calls me Desi.
Desi.
Desi D.
Desi D. Sounds like a crime boss. Okay. Cool. Are you guys aware that your sand skiff is infested with rats? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I am actually.
Oh, that's so funny. Ha 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 ha. He's calling our friend a rat.
I don't suppose there's anything you could do about it, is there?
No, I think he's sentient, isn't he? He looks like he's got a personality. He's got a rifle on his back.
Oh, I assure you, he's quite feral.
No, he's very friendly, actually. He's been so nice to me. And he didn't have to, really.
Oh.
You know, if you were dead, he would have eaten you.
To be fair, I would have done the same to him.
See?
Rat kebab.
He gets it.
Yes.
At which point you guys are kind of now in the undercarriage of this community. And it's a very large town, borderline small city on the back of this creature. You take a series of rope stairs and plank stairs back and forth to get up into the interior of the community itself. And it is swarming with gnomes. Tons of gnomes. And there's like a huge open market in the middle. There's this sense that this place probably doesn't sleep, as it is a busy kind of space of gnomes that are just either working on the buildings, they're working on these weird flying contraptions that seem to strap to their arms and their back. They're constantly tinkering with things, fixing lights in the different sections of the community. The one thing that really gets your attention is in the middle of the structure is a little bit of a courtyard area. And within that courtyard area, you can see this very bronze, grandiose statue in the middle of it. And emblazoned on a plaque is a dedication to a gnome that goes by the name of Puck, the current pilot and Grand Master of Rockhaven.
Whoa, what a gorgeous gnome. Wow, immediately commands respect.
A nearby gnome sees you look at it. Yeah, that's our current leader. She's a trip. She's got a lot of energy. Normally, Rockhaven's not this deep in the desert. Normally, we tend to stay in the Ashenador and the Panagrip area. But for some reason, she's got us out here looking for something. She's been going on and on about how she's been getting visits from an old friend of hers, some sea elf that used to worship Helm or something, and now she's obsessed with thinking that maybe she's out here somewhere. She's kind of become erratic a bit. But if you go up to the pilot tower, I can certainly introduce you to her if you'd like to meet her.
I'd love to. She sounds like a very intelligent and level-headed person.
Oh, well, I think we're both talking about two very different people, but that's fine. That's fine. Each to each their own. Well, here, follow me. And he just starts kind of leading you up. Help me out here. What was Alexa's old character's name? I always forget.
Xanth.
Xanth. That's right. It's the Xanth.
With an X, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, with an X, but sounds like a Z.
Like the
As
gum,
the
you know?
gnome leads the three of you up this weird kind of rope and bridge scaffolding, you now realize that you're like approaching the massive hindquarters and tail. And there you see attached to an air balloon this very tall scaffolding with an air balloon that's kind of strung to it and going about another 80 feet up in the air. And you can see your vulture circling it, Zordon, as just kind of keeping pace with the creature. The gnome starts leading you up the scaffolding. And then as you get to the scaffolding, he points to these weird kind of backpacks that you're supposed to put on. And he's like, oh, here's one for you, Mr. Desmond. Here's one for you, Zorn. Let me strap that on there for you. And Scrat, don't bite. I don't taste good. Here, I'll strap that on for you. Okay, you see those hooks? He pulls down a hook and hooks onto Desmond and then hooks onto Zordon, and Scrat goes, well, when you get up there, don't forget to grab on once you get there. Well, pleasure. Pulls all three ropes. You watch as these counterweights fall away from up above, and you feel your ropes tug on you. And like a reverse zip line, you're being hauled up into the air, and you get up the 80 feet into like this round rotunda like wicker basket thing that's like an oversized house made of wicker, and you immediately see these handholds that you're supposed to grab. Give me athletics or acrobatics to grab onto them.
Oh, definitely. Okay, cool. That is weirdly unbalanced. I don't remember it being that bad. That's a 26 acrobatics.
Okay.
25.
Okay.
18.
Okay. Timing wise, you guys all managed to do it just right. You grab onto it and you feel the hooks break away, allowing you to kind of like pull yourselves over the wicker railing and onto the landing. You see this gnome come out of the interior of her pilot house attached to this hot air balloon. She looks very surly. She's got a bottle of liquor in her left hand, and she's got a rusty old sword in her right hand. She looks very bleary-eyed and disheveled, and she lets out a great burp, like, and kind of stares at the three of you. What are the three of you fuckers doing up here? Who sent you?
With her?
Did the assassin
Literally,
send
whatever keeps me alive. Whatever answer keeps me alive. It's that. It's that. That's. What is it you want to hear?
That you're not here to. Number one, that you're not here to take away my booze. First of all.
Oh God,
Remember,
no.
and you're not here to kill me, right?
Never. No. My goodness.
Not
what an honor.
How are you piloting this beast in such a state?
She looks around. Oh shit, it's my turn to drive. Oh fuck! She goes running back inside the pilot window. And you can see that she's inside pulling on all these different cords. And you guys don't feel a thing, but looking over the edge down towards the community down below, you watch as the huge beast begins to gradually turn slightly to the left. And you can feel it takes like a long time until it kind of settles. And you get the feeling that the pilot house being attached by a hot air balloon allows her to avoid the feeling of motion and movement. And as soon as she's done making the turn, she comes out. Any of you here ever heard of the name of a very dear paladin friend of mine? Xanath? Have you heard of the name?
I'll do a history check real fast. Scrat didn't. That's a 7.
I have a 14.
14. Okay, what'd you get, Zordon?
19.
19. The two of you have heard about this strange dedicated statue or rock form out in the middle of the Lucidian Sea. People call it Xanath's Lookout or Xanath's Point. So you've heard of a place called Xanath, but you've never really heard of a person called Xanath. And then she like bleary-eyed looks at you and swings the dagger at you. Any of you named Mason?
No, that's a really gross name. I would never go by that
Okay,
name.
well, you can come in and sit down and have a drink with me, I guess. And you watch as she kind of leads you into the interior of this air balloon wicker basket house that the air balloon's attached to. You can see all these pulleys and cables and things kind of literally like all over the ceiling of this interior space. There's an old kind of leather couch that looks like it's got a blanket on it and a pillow. There's empty liquor bottles everywhere. There's strange kind of chalkboards with lots of writing and coordinates and maps and written sayings, and you see all these like hanging paper maps everywhere, like maybe she's looking for something. And she kind of notices you guys like staring at the place, and I'm sorry. My name's Puck. Pleasure to meet you. I'm a bit of a big deal. Me and some of my friends saved the world a long time ago, but here's the thing. Evidently, people don't know that we did. It's kind of those things. Have you ever had that? I think there's a syndrome for it. I don't remember the name of the syndrome. Like where you save the world, but no one ever knows that you saved it because there weren't enough people left over or enough people were allowed to talk. Anyways, sorry, I'm babbling.
So I have so many questions, but the pertinent one.
Oh, well, sit down. I'll get you some. I'm empty. I get another one. She lurches over to a cabinet, opens it, and it's just filled with liquor bottles from like all over Exandria. And she reaches in and grabs one. Well, help yourself. This one's for me, you daft bastard. And she goes and sits down in the couch and says, well, have a seat. Tell me what you said you had a lot of questions for me. I don't get a lot of visitors like I used to.
So I would...
Except for that damn Tabaxi. They're always coming around. I'm tired of that flea-infested person. Them. It's been a while. Sorry, go ahead.
So from this height, you probably have a good view of quite a lot of
that's
the
why
desert.
it's called the pilot's house. It's so you have a great view of the direction that the old crematoria is taking. Keep an eye on it.
So my companions and I were traversing the desert in an airship, and suddenly we weren't. None of us are quite sure what happened, but did you perhaps see anything?
There was something on the ground, a bit of an arcane streak of arcane energy went up in the air. We saw it hit the backside of the airship, and then we saw the airship careen over and crash into the ground, and I was like, well, nothing we can do about that, and we just kept going.
Fair.
How thoughtful.
I mean, for all I know, they could have been smugglers, pirates, mercenaries. Better we don't get involved. Better we just stay the course and get to Bassaris. It's important I get there.
Good judgment.
Important.
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
What's your name, friend?
My friends call me Desi D.
Is your character male or female?
Male.
Okay. Puck comes over and sits down right next to you. Kind of creepily puts his hand on your knee. Well, I like you a lot, Desmond. You seem like the perfect person to hang out with me. And slaps you on the knee and gets up. You want me to get you a bottle? Are you thirsty? You want a drink?
Yeah. No, I drink. I enjoy a cool beverage.
I've got some excellent Marquesian vodka. Give me a moment. She gets back up and grabs a big bottle of Marquesian vodka and hands it to you. So I'm sorry, you were saying what was your name again? Zordon.
Yes.
Sounds about as oblique as this bard I used to know. Went by the name Earthin. He had a weird name, but didn't look like the Earth. I don't know. I always thought it was kind of strange, but
Sounds confusing.
I mean, he healed me after I got gut stabbed by somebody. So anyways.
Sure.
Zartan, you were saying what are your questions?
Where where in the desert did the arcane blast come from? Are you familiar with the area?
This part of the desert? No, this is our first time roaming this deep. We normally stay in the Panagrips or the Ashenador mountain ranges and valleyscapes, but all right, so you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, which I get it. A lot of people think I'm crazy. About, I don't know, about maybe a week or so ago, I had a conversation with this really weird person. She went by the name of Regina Green. She seemed kind of sketch, but she seemed to know a lot about what was going on. She had a passenger with her. Somebody, she called her Karina, but she never talked or said anything about her name being, I don't know. But anyways, it was kind of weird. She insisted that we take them to Jrusar. And I was like, well, okay, we could take you there, but it's going to take us way out of our way and whatever. And then I realized that we found her in the middle of the fucking desert, of this desert out here. And I was like, I was so intrigued by where they came from. I told my other people, I said, we got to go check this out. Got to go out there. Got to see what's going on, because there was something I didn't trust about this person. So I think tomorrow we should be going by that spot where we picked her up from, and maybe figure out what was. So that's kind of why we're a little bit off our normal course. If that drunken conversation makes any sense to you.
Would Scrat and I know of Regina?
You would know of her name because it was mentioned in Fabian's dossier.
Mm-hmm.
You would also know that there's some sketchy information that maybe they originated somewhere between Jrusar and the Hellcatch Valley.
Okay.
My character is a smuggler. Would he have any reason to know Regina?
Ooh, give me a history check on that one. He might, yeah.
That's a nat 20.
Nice.
He would know that the Regina Greencloak is a very infamous assassin, as well as mercenary for hire. Very dangerous person to have interactions with. And if she was out here in the middle of the desert, she must have had a reason for being out here in the middle of the desert.
Man. He's not going to say anything. He's just going to
Just sit there and
Scratch
nod
just
and
kind
go.
of like runs a paw across his muzzle, just like, oh, for God's sake!
Also, does Puck have her tiger? I want to say hi to Punch.
Give me a perception check as you look around.
That's an 11.
11? I mean, at first you thought maybe it was just kind of a big stuffed animal, but curled up over by a table off to the side, you could see this large tiger, like very large tiger. It's got a bit of a gray to its mane, and it's very much like deep asleep.
Oh my god, is he friendly? Can I pet him?
Scrat just full on freaks out when Desmond says this. It just like shrieks and just flattens himself against a wall.
Yeah. But he's okay. He's a little bit blind in one eye. He's a little bit hard of hearing. We've been traveling for over 10 years together, so it's been a long travel for us. But yeah, you could go give him ear scrunches if you want.
Okay, Desmond kind of cautiously gives him a belly rub.
Scrat, I strongly question your survival instincts. Were that creature not deaf and perhaps blind and whatever incapacitation, you certainly would have woken it with that shrieking.
And just then the tiger's head comes up, sniffs at the air, and then puts its head back down.
Seriously, you shut. This is worse than the fucking. You remember the Keebler job? This is worse.
The Keebler job.
Oh,
Those were elves, these are gnomes.
Wait, what? Son of a.
Scratch having an existential identity crisis right now.
Just all the color drains from his face, just like.
So I'll turn and look at the charts on the wall and everything, and you seem a bit preoccupied with something.
Oh yeah. I've been having some rough dreams past few days. I lost a really good friend of mine about 10 years ago. Anyways, I for the last week I've been hearing her voice in my mind. Constantly telling me to come find her. She's waiting. She's waiting for me to find her. And when I'm not on required missions and things that need to get done, I use my spare time to map out where I think this voice is taking us. That's how I came across this Regina and Karina out in the middle of the desert. Is I was following up on a possible lead, but it never really led to anything.
Puck, I have heard of this Regina person before. She's kind of infamous.
Really? Like dangerous infamous, or like, famous infamous like me, that kind of fame? Or
Cannot hold a light to you, my dear.
I like you, Desmond. You know what to say. You know what to say to old Puck.
Bad infamous, I'm afraid. Very bad infamous. And whatever she was involved in, I would urge you to question some of your instincts just a little bit, because the kind of figures that she's known to work with are notoriously tricky. And if you're being urged by something into action, and if it's consuming you, there is, and I'm afraid to say, and I do trust your judgment, you seem like you're a level 20 ranger who has saved the world. But
wow, you know a lot about me. That's
when you
crazy.
see a beautiful jewel, you study it, and
now
I know how to appraise the.
You're just trying to get on my good side now.
Am I succeeding? Anyway.
Yeah, I think so. You know the right things to say. You do.
I would just warn you that this person is very, very dangerous, and that if you feel like you're consumed by this voice in a way that is like overly compelling, it might be some kind of enchantment or some kind of curse that is worth like seeking some help with, just to be on the safe side.
I mean, what I hear when the dead are calling you to join them, typically it means you're next.
Listen, she's not dead. I don't care what anyone says. That oogly boogly god that took her away from us never technically said she was dead.
I mean, that's pretty compelling. Sound, yeah.
Hey, listen, Jasmine, you don't have to use big words around me to sound smart. You can just stay it the way it is. I get it. I'm kind of the same way myself. But I'm mostly alone all the time, so I don't really have to compete for people's attention. It just, it just is what it is.
Just out of curiosity, do you know like a cleric or like a monk, just someone that's more in tune with their mental health, and maybe can
never heard of them. Never heard of any of those people ever before.
Okay, so never heard of a monk that you.
No such thing as monks.
Okay, I was just gonna say maybe they could have call up the spectral realm and maybe ask a question for you.
No.
Oh, you mentioned a tabaxi. What were they? Just out of curiosity.
They were a pain in my ass, and I still don't know who you're talking about. Anyways,
we were friends, you bastard.
Something happened.
Years ago you were friends, but now Puck is a drunkard chasing a mystical voice in her head.
Spot, she doesn't mean it. It's the alcohol.
Anyways,
so
your rat friend here is a bit much for me. Reminds me of somebody I know. Anyways, Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Could so I have a mechanics question for you. So being a Circle of Stars druid, a star chart or a star map is my focus, right? Yeah. And I have this ability called Cosmic Omen.
Okay.
But it's more focused towards like battle, like when a creature you can see when 30 feet is about to make a D20 test, you can use a reaction and add the result to the total.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if I could burn one of those to try and like consult my star chart, looking at the charts, like the map kind of stuff that Puck has kind of scribbled out on the wall chalkboards and everything, and see if there's some connections between them that I can kind of narrow down, maybe some place we're looking at.
Yeah, I'll say as you burn that and you examine that, give me an investigation check for starters.
Okay. That's not bad. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. One of her charts kind of matches Fabian's description of a possible location you need to get to after you check in with Bassaris. It might be that by finding Stonehaven and Puck and this big dinosaur that she's in charge of and controls, that the direction she's currently going in might lead you to the spot that you need to get to. Fabian's letter to you or note of concern was that supposedly Regina Greencloak took some person named Karina from what Regina described as like a bastion or fortress. And he wants to know where it's located, and he'd like for you and Scrat to find it. That was the original mission he had you on. That's why he put you on the Ankarel airship, because he knew it would be the direct route to get to Bassaris at that point. Get the feeling that this Puck is inadvertently looking for the same thing that you're looking for, but she might be looking for it for different reasons.
Okay. Interesting. So, and I'll kind of get my star chart out and kind of try and line them up for the comparison. So we were sent to track down a location, and it appears that perhaps we may have a common goal here. Unfortunately, first we are due in at Bassaris to report.
Let me see that chart. She kind of grabs it from you. Oh, hell no. She kind of tacks it up on the board near one of her own charts. She begins to pull a series of handles and ropes. And once again, while the air balloon stays stabilized, down below you can see the community lights of the town on the back of the dinosaur kind of creaking hard to the left as she begins to align a new pathway to the direction of what's on the chart, the location that Fabian wants you to try to find.
Well, okay then. May I borrow some parchment then?
Sure.
May I have some parchment?
Yeah, if you're going to use it for either wiping your ass or writing on, then I really don't want it back.
Certainly. So I'll take the parchment and I'll just kind of scribble a note to whoever our contact was supposed to be in Bassaris, and then hand it off to the Vulture and send that and just say, we're on our way. We got intercepted. No time for Bassaris, basically.
Okay. So as you call in the Vulture, get that all set up, and he takes off. Puck goes, well, it's going to be another 8 hours till we get there. There's a tavern down below called the Scale Tavern. You can go hang out there. I think they might have some rooms available too. But yeah, well, I'll find you in the morning.
The beast here.
Yeah. Well,
does anyone communicate with it? Not your tiger. Certainly not your tiger.
I do. I can talk to her. Yeah. Her name's Cremora. Is her name. She's an ancient kind of stunted sauropod dinosaur. She's last conversation I had with her, she's over 400 years old.
I wouldn't have guessed over 200. So
You know
used
what?
to
I
you.
would say the same thing. You're Dresden or Desmond or Demond or Desi, whatever you go by. You're pretty clever, and you get you're kind of cute too. Oh, sorry, got distracted.
Kind of winks at her.
Yeah, you like wink over at Puck, and she's like, you never know who you're gonna run into in the middle of the desert. This is really cool. On the back of a giant dinosaur.
Is it? I don't know the courtesy here in the desert, but would it be okay if I attempted to communicate with her as well?
Oh, you could try. I don't think she's gonna like you.
That's fine. I just wanted to ask permission first.
I'm sure other people have tried, not to much success, but if you think you can pull it off, you go right ahead.
Thank
I
you.
think you must be good talking to strange creatures because of your friend Scrat here. and the whole time, like Scrat's like up against the wall, looking at the big ass tiger asleep on the ground, and just fuck you, and just kind of keeping an eye on that big giant cat.
I could arrange for the cat to wake up.
The cat wouldn't hurt you. Look at him. Who's a good cat?
It could still be a good cat and hurt him.
You two have a very wonderful friendship. I am so confused by it, but you really know that people are connected to one another when they can rag on each other. So this is beautiful.
So true.
At this point, I'm not sure who owes who more, but yes, we certainly have had our share.
I've saved your scraggly ass so many times.
As I said, who owes who? How do we get down from here? That was unusual.
Yeah, you want to use those other backpacks there. They'll get you down. You'll like these. You know what? Here, let me show you how they work. She guides you back out in the windy air and the town below, kind of cascading upward. And she starts putting these backpacks on you and takes you over to a part of the wicker basket where she lets go a piece of the wall. And she goes, just pull the string, and pushes you all off the side.
Which string?
You like free falling.
Which string?
I'm reaching for the string on the backpack, trying to pull it.
Like this long rope on your backpack.
Yeah. So I'm reaching around to grab it and pull.
Yeah. You guys watch as Zordon pulls his, and this big kind of silken parachute thing kind of forms up and slows him down as he slowly kind of lands down below. Each of you doing the same. And the three of you are now back on the scaffolding.
Can I roll to crash land into Zordon?
Yes, that means you'd have to control it. I'm going to say sleight of hand to control the little rope things.
Sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Hand? Okay, that's a 27 to hit him.
Yeah. Zordon, as you start getting out of your backpack, you look up, and there's a little Scrat's ass. Just like right into your chest and shoulder. Kind of straddles you across the chin, like he's looking down at you as the two of you tumble to the ground.
Desmond is just like, kiss, 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 kiss.
Look, your breath is awful, Scrat, and your aim as well. And he goes to move Scrat off and does the infestation game again, where he's going to, I'm going to cast the infestation on me. It's a con save, 16. But to
make a con save there, Scrat.
So the spiders rolling off of me and onto just like the little spider mites kind of going into his fur.
Oh, that's bad. I did not do well. I got a 5.
You are now infested with spiders and insects that are crawling through your skin and your fur as you kind of like get up, kind of jump in and.
Hey, why did you do that? Last time I ate one of these, it was awful. Why did you do that again? God,
that's 4. That's 4 points of poison damage.
I'm immune to poison.
Right, that's why he did it. So they start stinging you, and
you can feel them biting you.
Yeah.
Ow!
Aww.
You guys start
Uh.
descending the scaffolding back into the interior of the haven. And pretty much where she showed it to you, you can see a tavern and inn kind of over by that main courtyard opening where you saw the statue dedicated to Puck, with the empty fountain in the middle of it. It's getting pretty late at this point.
If you don't mind, I would like to go and try and pick. Well, perhaps that's not the best choice of words, but pick the brain of this sauropod.
So, while he's thinking about that, I think we're actually on the same wavelength. I just kind of want to come up because I think I asked last time. Sorsen is significantly taller than me, right? Like I'm like 4'6". Like I'm very short.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think Zordan's very tall.
Yep.
Okay. Like I just want to come up and just kind of like reach behind and kind of like not to do damage, just kind of like thwack him a little bit in the center of the chest just to kind of draw his attention. Like, hey, you think what I'm thinking? You want to steal the dinosaur, don't you?
You guys want to steal the dinosaur from Puck? That's awesome.
That wasn't my plan, but
Of course,
it
right.
It happens. I do. If this creature is as old as they say, there must be a lot it has seen in the desert here, and perhaps we could glean some of that information.
Uh-huh. That's a lot of words for steal the dinosaur, but I mean, I'm in. Yeah, okay, I got nothing better to do.
Last time it was pigeons. This time it's a dinosaur. We're just stealing everything. No, I'm sorry. It was the cat.
Mhm.
Last time
Yeah.
it was the cat from the pigeon place. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm glad I left scratch.
Desmond-
I'm glad I left scratch back in my lodgings. That would have been terrible. Now, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Perhaps the tiger would have made a friend. Desmond, you're welcome to join us. I don't want to.
Out of his cut.
I mean, if you two need some time alone together, I understand. But I love to be included. I'm a wonderful friend to all.
Certainly. Yes. Well,
People generally
I'm-
enjoy my company.
I am going to head towards the head of the beast. I assume that would be easier to try and communicate. Again, you're more than welcome to join. Yes. Anyway, and like turn and just start walking towards what feels like the head of the beast.
Yeah, it takes the three of you a while to get there. You end up walking on the outskirts of the community and onto its skin. And the dinosaur skin is a mixture of ancient rock and organics that have just kind of blended to, like barnacles on a whale, but rock instead of barnacles. Just this, and it's vast, it's huge. This creature is huge. And now that you're on its skin, which is almost like being in the middle of a big rocky field, now you can feel the heavy footsteps down below kind of jolt all the way up. And you get the feeling that its overall size kind of absorbs the shock of its movement. So it doesn't like rattle the entire town every time it takes a step. But it might also explain why the gnomes are so busy constantly doing repairs and fixing things because of that situation. But you guys kind of climb onto its under the surface of its neck, and you help each other through the big crags and rock outcroppings. You even come across like a lot of growth, like small stunted trees that have grown in between the different slags of rock. And before long, you can see its huge blue eye, blinking down below you. And it's strange because you're looking down at the eye. The eye is almost like a giant lake in size comparison. But you guys are now on its head, like you're up in the rocks by its head.
So I'm going to use Speak with Animals to see if I can communicate with Cremora.
Okay. Cast it, and you make that connection. You hear a deep noise in your mind. What you want? Can't see I'm busy now.
Yes, great lady Cremora, you have journeyed this desert for what I can only assume is
Get
centuries.
point. Not time for words with such person you.
I was told of a location in the desert, and I wonder if you might have come across it in your travels.
I travel a lot. Desert all time. What you look for?
There is a bastion in the desert, past beyond Basilisk. I believe Puck mentioned you picked up some stragglers there before. I would just like to know how many times perhaps you've come across that location in the past.
Never before. First time I do that. Big giant rock there. Big giant rock. Look like place where like people you live.
So you've scoured this desert for centuries, and that was the first time you came across this rock.
Yeah, rock like big house. Real big house. See, I don't live in house. I live in desert. You bipedal creatures live in big houses, not me.
Yes, that is true. We do live, well, I mean, there is a house on you as well where a lot of us live, but...
Those caretakers, they keep me happy and healthy.
Right, well, thank you for the information. I would have liked to perhaps...
Like a single?
Look, this is a strange question, okay? One person in my group is asking if your pilot Puck is single.
Oh, Puck single. She what you call a playboy.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, she's a playboy. Okay, she's a playboy.
My tender heart.
But regardless, Cremora, thank you for your time. Is there anything I could perhaps do? You know, I have some bit of druidcraft, and I notice you have some shrubberies growing on you. If those are painful, or if you would perhaps like more of them, I could perhaps help you with that.
Oh, no, I'm fine. They're part of my body. It's okay.
So,
All right,
Scrat,
then. Thank you for your time.
while Sorensen's doing this, Scrat does not have a speak with beast ability, so he's just out of touch. But he's just sitting there, feeling like Sorensen's fucking it up because there's no trust. Just like
No filter.
You're confused. This thing, Sorensen, this thing has a brain. It is the size of your.
I just look down into the eye and I try to do some animal handling just to get just to kind of steer them in the direction we want to go, just towards the outcropping. So
that
just
would be like steering a continent, but you could certainly give it a try.
Okay, I got a 23 with animal handling.
I
All
mean,
my interpretive dance. I mean to direct it. I don't want to actively try to drag you across.
And it's like as you're doing that, its eye, which is like a chameleon-like eye, is like pivoting in awkward directions, trying to understand what you're doing. And that's when all three of you feel its head shake, like it's
this is a terrible
like it's trying
idea.
to get something off of its back. I need all three of you to make strength saving throws, please.
Oh, that's gonna be bad.
Oh boy.
+0.
Yeah.
That's a 12 for Scrat.
Okay.
That's a nat 1. It's a 3.
Okay.
9.
9. All three of you are immediately pitched up into the air, and you are now free falling down towards the desert below. You look up to see like the creature still shaking its head. You can see a couple of the buildings in the town kind of collapse in on themselves.
Can I? I'd like to try to be a video game character and double jump off Zorzan to get back up.
Oh, I'm turning into a bird, so don't worry. You can try, but
Scrat, you go to try to like double hop off of Zordon, and until Zordon turns into like a little sparrow.
Okay,
Starts
so
flying.
have you guys ever seen? God, what is it? Not Shaolin Soccer, the sequel to it.
Shell and Soccer Part 2.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Kung Fu Hustle. Where
Yes. Where
you just saw him and he like bounces off the bird.
he
way up.
bounces off a hawk.
Desmond, you and Scrat are currently free falling as you watch Zordon turn into a bird and start flying away.
I'm going to try to just do acrobatics and catch something and then try to kind of save myself from falling.
Yeah, give me an acrobatics check as you're scrambling to grab anything you can on the way down.
If we say I've become a hawk,
17.
I can try and help bring ropes or like guide some hanging
That's
stuff.
fine. You can be a
around.
hawk. Yeah. What'd you get, Desmond?
17.
You watch as the hawk kind of grabs a rope nearby, which allows you to kind of grab onto it, and it slows your fall until you're like 20 feet off the ground, and then it runs out. So the rope runs out, and it snaps from your weight and your sudden stop. You'll take 8 points of falling damage as you land in the desert below.
Okay, well, Desmond is not going to comprehend that this was Sarah's. Wait, how do you pronounce the name?
Zordon.
Cremora or Zordon? Oh, yeah.
Zordon.
Yeah.
That the hawk was Zordon. It's like, wow, I'm so lucky. Like this hawk just kind of randomly appeared and helped me. What a day.
Scrat, give me acrobatics check as you see this hawk kind of bringing you ropes to try to grab onto.
29.
29. You grab on, and just at the tail end of the rope, it snaps, and you kind of tumble into the desert, taking 8 points of falling damage. Zordon, as you're flitting around, you settle to where you can see both Desmond and Scrat, and you're just watching as the dinosaur continues on into the distance, as you just stare at the empty desert.
Yep.
And the dinosaur disappearing off over the horizon.
Wait, I didn't get your number.
It was that big wanderers. Like, should we have just fallen like straight down from its head?
I kind of
no, because you were shaked off and off to the side of it, and you were free falling beyond that point. Bits of rope that were hanging off of its ancient harness, which is super old, you were grabbing onto to slow your descent, but they're not strong enough to allow you guys to climb back up, and poof, you're back in the desert again.
I land between them and then revert back to me and just kind of sit there looking, and I'll look over at Scrat. Are you happy now? Are you satisfied?
I mean,
Oh,
no.
man.
Now
If you taste anything like your spiders, no, I'm not.
we have no skiff. We have no dinosaur. We have no way to traverse the desert. And we are in the middle of nowhere.
Do you feel
Help me hollow.
Oh, sorry?
So help me hollow him out.
Well, if you turn into a horse, maybe we can kind of get to the dinosaur on time. We can still, try and climb it.
I believe we're beyond that now.
Yeah, like every couple stride that thing takes is like a quarter mile of movement because it's so massive. I mean, you can even see the craters of its feet imprints kind of backfilling in with sand. The craters are, 100 feet in diameter from the impact of it walking off into the distance.
Desmond is just going to start screaming, "Fuck! Dino Gal! Wait for us! We're here and we are weak and don't have any mode of transportation."
Desmond just is like kind of doing that hard jog in the sand because it's hard to run in sand. So Desmond's just like, wait!
Did I mention I have no
while jogging at the same time?
I guess that's just life. You meet your soulmates and then you lose them all in the span of 30 minutes.
So I'm going to assume that we're about to try and rest, and so Zordon's going to sit down and start ritually casting some spell, like working on himself and kind of playing with the sand. And I'm going to ritually cast Meld with Stone to see if I can't just absorb myself into the desert for a moment
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
to get a rest in.
Okay. How's everybody else trying to take their long rest at this point? You're in the middle of the desert, so it's not like you can find much shelter.
I'm gonna kind of like pull my hood down over my head as tight as possible, just to try to keep as much sand out of my face, and I'm going to like burrow right by where I saw Zordon, just like. All right, I can breathe here, and then just kind of like, I don't know, he's shifty. Just kind of get one of my rifles and put it on half cock, just like. All right, time for some shut eye.
That's when you're staring at this happen, and you're kind of freaked out. You're out in the middle of the desert. You can see on the distant horizon, kind of like the beginnings of a storm, and it's way out there, so you beat it, but it's like desert at night is kind of weird. It's cold, so you kind of wrap your cloak up, and you're kind of just standing there, and you're starting to get tired, and you just kind of settle down in between where Scrat went into the sand and where that weirdo Zordon just kind of melded into the natural environment, and you just feel your eyelids get super heavy and tired. And I need all three of you to roll d20s, please.
Oh no.
7.
Oof.
I mean, we don't know what it is, so it could be good that we're
12.
5.
12 and a 5. Go ahead and mark off a long rest. Cover any hit points that you need or any spell slots. You guys wake up to the sound of gentle footsteps walking through the desert. As you see this very kind of interesting looking dragonborn individual swaddled in orange and white fabrics. They have a leather kind of bandana across the half portion of their eyes with a little bit of goggles underneath to keep the sand out. It's got this interesting looking medallion on around its neck. And it's just very slowly with its staff walking right past you, which wakes you up. And then it continues to walk like it's going in the same direction that the dinosaur was going in.
Oh, sir, wait. Are you local? We're lost. We were in a terrible accident.
Give me a persuasion check on that one.
I miss my old character's charisma points.
Of course we do.
This a 10.
I'm sorry, dear. Were you talking to me?
Yes, sir. Me and my bros here. We were in a skiff, and there was this terrible accident, and we're the only survivors. We're trying to find our way back to civilization. Do you happen to know what we? Could you help us by any chance?
Well, I don't know if I could help you directly, but I am traveling to the Great Citadel, if you'd like to come with me.
A million thank yous. You have saved our lives.
I certainly hope so. Perhaps you could be convinced to be converted into a seeker like me. Well, come along. It's only going to get hotter and only going to get more sandy. And he starts back to walking with his stick and moving forward.
Just I know you're exothermic, but like wouldn't we as mammals want to maybe travel by night so that we don't die? Just leaving that out there. I know you're a reptile. We're not.
Well, either come along or don't. Either way is fine with me.
Fine.
Zordon and Scrat and Desmond, give me Constitution saves as the heat of the day is beginning to build.
That's a dirty 20.
Nice.
Oh, whoa. That's a nat
Yay.
20. 21. Man.
What'd you get, Scrat?
I haven't rolled it yet.
Okay.
16.
16. All three of you do really well. I mean, you just kind of line up behind the seeker, who's kind of like, just as he's like leading the way, he's going on about this story that he begins to tell you.
I don't know when exactly it happened, but the story goes like this. Some 10 years ago, there was an explosion over the desert horizon. A big chunk of rock fell from the sky, landed in the midst of the desert, and we refer to it as the Citadel, although it is not a complete fortress. It's more as if a large piece of a fortress had broken off and landed amongst the desert. Seekers like myself, we've decided that this is a sign from the gods. And as pilgrims, we travel to this place and we bear worship and witness to it. And we have our unique experiences. This pilgrim takes place once every year, of course. If you make it, and some people have even been known to have mind-opening experiences. They then take these stories back to wherever they came from, and they seek to enlighten the idea of becoming a seeker. We are, how shall we say, ever since the collapse of the Fae, we have seen that as a sign that the gods have truly and finally fled Exandria. However, this great rock, this great citadel bastion, was a gift that they left behind to remind us how important the gods are. And we know that if we journey to it and we seek its truth, then maybe someday the Fae will come back. Maybe even the gods themselves may come back.
Can I get a look at his amulet? Like just
give
the
me
emblem on it?
Perception or investigation.
Let's make that perception. That's a 23.
23. It is an amulet of solid gold that has like an engraving on the front of it. The engraving is an engraving of an eye on a field of like gray kind of decoration. And behind the gray decoration, it's in like the shape of a citadel or like a fortress or a tower, almost kind of like mimicking the idea that the eye represents being a seeker, the gray representing neutrality, and the fortress emblem representing the citadel that the seeker is pilgrim to. It's quite unique. You've never seen it before.
So, like, if the gods came back, which god you'd be the most excited for?
Oh, I would be most interested in having Bahamut back. A powerful platinum dragon always looking over her people. Definitely would look forward to that.
Sounds awesome.
What gods do you worship?
And he's just like,
Oh, great horned rat. Like, come on, just me, but huge with horns. Yeah, I mean, like, that's perfect. That's perfection.
I would have thought you would have worshipped a chunk of cheese, but each to their own.
You know, that is a misnomer. That is what you had left in your cabinets in times of famine. We don't actually like that.
I'm lactose intolerant. The seeker looks back over towards you, Desmond.
And what gods do you worship, dear boy?
To be honest, I am not quite the spiritual kind. You know, I've never really had any meaningful relationship to them, but I really respect people who do.
He turns towards you. Well, perhaps you are an accommodating convert of sorts. Perhaps this pilgrimage to the Bastion will offer you an opportunity to learn something that you are seeking. Perhaps an emblem will appear for you to take, and you might yourself become a seeker.
Perhaps, he says kind of politely.
Kind of sticking the staff into the ground and continuing the journey through the sand. And you, Druid, surely you believe in the sanctity of the gods, no matter their absence?
the sanctity of nature, perhaps. You know, the Wild Mother and our tentative association at best.
Wild Mother is sorely missed. Her calm demeanor and her calm approach to keeping the world healthy and alive.
Really? Because I mean, like, you try to poison me a lot. Like, it doesn't work, but it's still just the principle of the thing, you know?
My mother used to have this joke about the Wild Mother. She'd be like, the Wild Mother might be gone, but this mother, she's wild. And then she'd drink.
Very funny.
And, like, Zordon is just like furling his brow, like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Desmond is just happy, is just genuinely like vibing.
I like this Dragonborn guy. Scratch just sitting there like, I'm going to antagonize him. I'm just going to do it.
Oh, I love it.
So,
Houdini's mad.
Okay, Desmond is like starting to sing like travel songs.
I would like to use Druidcraft. It's specifically written under Druidcraft that I can create a tiny, harmless sensory effect that predicts what the weather will be at your location for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
Knowing that we had that storm on the horizon, just kind of trying to keep it, ready to go, kind of thing.
Okay.
But it says like the effect might manifest as a golden orb for clear skies, a cloud for rain, falling snowflakes for snow, and so on. And
Okay.
it persists for 1 round.
In the next 24 hours, you can expect rain.
I don't have my umbrella.
Through the heat of the day, the long journey through the sand, getting closer to the mountains up ahead, you begin to see a black obsidian pillar of rock that begins to appear on the edge of the horizon. However, with the travel of the day's heat, give me a final con save for everybody to see how well you do against the weather.
Hey, not bad. That's 17.
17.
18.
18?
16.
Good. Yeah, you guys are
Nice.
fine. You use your water, you use your food, and you kind of like do, you shade, like you pull your cloaks over to give yourself shade. And you just feel as if, you're pushing through the hardship of the desert. At which point, the sun begins to set. You watch as the Seeker stops and points off onto the horizon. And just as the storm clouds begin to break in the background, you see this huge black tower, almost like it's been broken off of another structure. You can see the flat surfaces of its design are clean, but there's this huge broken, jagged section along the right side of it, like maybe it was attached to another structure or another form. The closer you get, you could see kind of collapsed rock-like structures. The Seeker goes, "Mind your step," and is kind of leading you through the rubble and leading you through this blasted landscape. Like this thing just landed here, and you realize that the sheer volume of all the desert around you is like a great crater or walled edge of craters all around you.
Does it look like Strahd's castle?
I mean, fourth wall and all, sure.
Desmond suddenly remembered someplace else he needed to be in. Oh, shoot,
Well,
I
it looks
forgot.
like a piece of Strahd's castle.
Right.
You guys, I totally forgot I had a place to be in. It's nice.
Look, we were in a city, and and this one got us forcibly removed from the city.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, I'm no narc. I won't say nothing.
Fortunately, this is a giant obsidian slab and can't shake its head.
That's when you begin to see the crowds of various lineages and species all around you. You see dwarves and gnomes and halflings and humans, hobgoblins and goblins. You see the occasional tabaxi, the occasional Goliath. They're all swaddled in white and orange. These white refinements of robes, these orange shawls that cover their mantles, and they're all wearing the same emblematic kind of device around their neck. And they're all kind of nodding towards each other. Some are giving each other hugs as they recognize each other, as the great floor of this obsidian structure is surrounded by the masses of teeming pilgrims that are just gradually filling in the great crater. Some of them just simply sitting down and staring up towards the flat of the obsidian tower. Some quietly making a small meal or having quiet conversations. Some setting out these ceramic containers to collect the water as the sprinkling of the storm begins, a slight drizzle, the pattering of the water on the sand as the rain begins to fall.
My apologies, Mr. Dragonborn. I failed to get your name.
I have no name. I am a seeker. We are told that names are a sort of cage. To be named is to be owned.
Certainly.
I am not owned, therefore I am merely a seeker of the truth.
How very fey of you. What is the significance of your coloring? I notice everyone here has the white and orange.
No significance. It is the fabric and the clothing that we were given by the great caretaker that resides here in the Bastion.
Okay, this isn't like a really weird snake cult, is it? Like, I've seen this before. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm down. I just want to make sure.
Conan the Barbarian references need not apply. This is not the cult of Set.
Caretaker. That's pretty cool. Is it like just like a good charity that helps people?
I guess you could possibly think of him as charitable. He gives out these emblems that we accept when we accept the faith of the Seeker. He also hands out clothes to take. He says that when you give away your name and become a Seeker, you should not be tied to worldly possessions, but to wander the world, offer the truth to those that seek it, help them find their way back towards the great obsidian tower, to be told the truth and to seek their truth.
After hearing... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Right, no, you can...
I was just going to say, after hearing this, I'm getting suspicious, and I would like to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Try and see if I can pick up anything off of his clothing, off of what he's
Okay.
wearing, or specifically the emblem.
Okay. Anything you want to do, Desmond? You're in the middle of something?
Oh,
Yeah,
I would like to know about your truth. You know, I'm unaligned, so maybe that will be my truth as well.
Oh, dear one, dear boy. I will bring you to the obsidian steps themselves, where you can be close to the caretaker. And when you feel his magic overwhelm you, when you feel his faith overwhelm you, perhaps you will climb the steps, receive the token of his grace, and put on the wardrobe of his faith.
Whoa. My character has the vibe of somebody who would try ayahuasca, and so he is
I
very.
love it. Yeah.
What did you say is in this cup? Like, oh, cool.
Man, you see colors. It's like, wow, we're all connected when you think about it. Like, how do we know that we all see the same colors? He gives that vibe. He is not that stupid, but he looks that stupid, and he is not that far from being that gullible.
I'm sensing a commonality in your characters.
What? Low on wisdom and intelligence.
So true.
It's to be fair, my other character is technically smart on a technicality. She has good grades. That's something.
I mean, Earthen was only smart because he had a sword that made him super smart.
Yeah, that's true.
See, Scrat is he is like right in the center. He is decently intelligent and decently wise. Like he's not an also on either, as opposed to my last two characters, which were Spot, extremely high wisdom, no intelligence, and Professor Thaddeus, extremely high intelligence, no wisdom.
So I'm super wise. So
the storm descends. The storm kind of descends down into the crater, cloud cover, kind of boiling all around within the cratered valley. Pilgrims begin to collect water and laugh and kind of use the water to clean their faces, or simply stand there with their mouths open as they drink the rainwater that falls in. You watch as the seeker turns. You see, here at the height of the pilgrimage, water comes to where water should not be able to come to. This great storm, probably summoned by the caretaker himself. And this is why our faith knows truth. We know his power, and his power is one of gratitude, charity, and harmony with the world.
That's beautiful. And he's gonna start using his thieves' eyes to see if he sees anything that feels valuable, or like any opening for trade around here.
Okay. Zordon, as you cast Detect Magic, whenever you are near one of the pilgrims or looking at the seeker, all of their necklaces are magical. Every single necklace that you pass by gives off divination magic. While you don't know what these necklaces do, they are all imbued with magic. Hundreds, if not thousands of them. The cratered floor of the valley is filled with thousands of pilgrims gathering as if looking up, expecting something to happen, but a quiet calm and a kind of every now and then a laughter rippling through the crowd, or people talking, people sharing a meal. This overwhelming feeling of social kind of congregation of these pilgrims.
could I try to subtly cast Dispel Magic on the Dragonborn's necklace?
At what level?
It's 3rd level.
Okay. Give me a d20.
Yep.
And add your spell modifier to what you roll.
That's a 12.
You feel your spell connect but fade, as if to not affect it.
Interesting. Seeker, for lack of a better word.
No, it's a good word. It describes who I am.
Correct, but if I just yell out Seeker, everyone will turn. I'm
They
speaking.
are all seekers.
I understand. I would like to speak specifically to you.
What is your question, dear boy?
What memory do you have of your life before you were a Seeker?
I have the entirety of my memory, of course. I worked in a community called Stilben within the continent of Isilra. You'll know the place, near Vasselheim, of course. The great crossroads of trade between Wildmont and Isilra. I found myself journeying from home and finding myself in Jrusar some 30 years ago. There, I worked in the cities and toiled for the coin. I did all the things I was told and raised to believe in. Work hard, earn your wealth, find your power, and find your purpose. The whole time, I never felt quite right about that. Well, I had met a very strange dwarf. This dwarf
convinced me to try going on this pilgrimage. I did. I had no real guidance in my life at that point. So me and this dwarf traveled here some, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And he led me to this place. The faith of this place spoke to me. I walked up to the caretaker. He handed me my necklace of identity. And here I wear it even now to this day, some 6 years later. And every year I do the pilgrimage out here. And I feel myself become more connected, more in tune and entwined with this place.
You called it now your necklace of identity. What does the necklace do?
Just marks me as a seeker, I believe. It is a gift from the caretaker. It's a gift that my faith is proven to him.
I understand. Can I roll an insight check and see if he seems to be aware that the necklace is magical? Like, as he just describes the necklace.
Yeah.
Like, let me see what the modifier is. That wasn't bad. That's, a 21. I have to have a +8 to insight. It's more as he did, as he described the necklace and they gave it to him. You know, I know that the necklace is magical because I've done my spell, but
right.
does he know that it's magical, or does he just think that it's an identifier?
What'd you roll again?
21.
You get the feeling he believes it's his religious focus. So, like, the same level of relationship to it would be equivalent to, like, a priest or a priestess or a cleric. They believe it to be their religious focus, and they believe that it is magical. You get the feeling he believes it's magical, but more of a magic of accepting it from the caretaker. Like, it's got more emotion than true actual magic. He might even believe it's under a charm or an enchantment kind of effect.
I understand, Seeker. You know, I have this star chart that I use. It's a crystal, but it also helps me with my performing my magic as well.
I do not perform magic. I only perform in the words of the faithful.
What are the words of the faithful?
The words of the faithful of what we are told. We are to be remade in the image of what the gods attempted to make themselves into. We are to be humbled by their power, but not beholden to their power. There is a sense of rebirth, a new beginning. With the Fae and the Shadowfell gone, the gods fleeing the world of Exandria, this is our time to find and seek out our own truth.
I see. Well, it seems our friend Desmond here is eager to join. So, when and how or where do we begin this ceremony?
Well, follow me. And you watch as the Seeker starts taking you through the heavy crowds of the pilgrims. Every now and then they look over at the Seeker and like shake and smile. What's your passive perception, Desmond?
My passive perception is 12.
12. And Eyes of the Thief, what does that allow you to do?
Oh, it's not an actual thing. He's just a thief, so he's looking.
Yeah. So I would say these people are destitute. No jewelry, no finger rings, no sign that they're carrying like any kind of belt pouches or coin pouches. Just very simple orange and white clothing. The necklace that they have on bearing the mark of their faith. Nothing of wealth here. This is, as the Seeker said, this is the unburdening yourself of worldly goods.
Seeker, you mentioned that you used to work in trade.
I worked
Um,
in many different jobs and things to earn money and trade.
can I do just like a history check on trade and any black market goods that come from this area?
Oh, from this immediate area that you're in?
From Hillcrest Valley.
Well, you're not
Well,
technically in like common knowledge. Hellcatch Valley is very much a kind of Wild West chaotic place of gangsters and syndicates. And illicit trade and smuggling happens all the time in and out of the Hellcatch Valley. Everybody knows about it. There's famous casinos, and they have the famous death race there where people can enter into a race and they use these machines to race each other. And people bet on those races.
damn.
So, you know, Bassaris is like the center of the Hellcatch Valley, and it definitely is known. And it's known to be very dangerous, but kind of like Vegas on steroids without law enforcement. You know, it's just one of those intense areas. But as far you didn't even know this place existed. This is in the middle of nowhere. You're in between any regular civilization within between 2 weeks direction. You're struggling to even find a small town, a village. You get the feeling that Havens Rock was just a coincidence that you came across it because of what that person Puck was looking for. Just somehow led her in this direction. And that's when you realize you guys have been traveling for a day. In the crowd, you see a familiar gnome. She's dressed in white, an orange mantle shawl, and she's wearing the medallion around her neck as you see Puck amongst the crowd of pilgrims.
Oh, my girlie! I'm gonna run towards her.
So, one of the things that I wanted to see if this was possible, while Sorsman was having his conversation with Seeker, Scrat is trying to be practical. Like with the rainstorm coming down,
Yeah.
he's putting out like, all the things that he has to cover. He is trying to, if you can see any places where pilgrims have.
You're cutting in and out. I can't hear you.
I think you're covering your mic.
Yeah, you keep covering your mic, and I think that's probably why it's cutting in and out.
I think that's Houdini too. Sorry. Is this any better?
Yep.
Much better.
Because it should be going through the computer. But hi. But sorry. While Sorsen is talking to our lizard guy, Scrat is trying to like set out as many things to collect water as possible for the trip. You know.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
also
you just
keeping
start pulling things out of your kit and
Yeah.
setting them out in on the desert sand to start collecting water.
But he's also like keeping an eye out. Do I see anywhere that has like just some robes lying out?
No, everything you see are people wearing their clothes, and even though they're getting wet from the gradual like drizzle and the rain falling a little bit harder, none of them take their clothes off. They are all just kind of the only clothes you see are the white and orange vestments that everyone is wearing.
Okay. There's not anybody like sleeping at a set of robes, just like in.
Oh no, there's no one sleeping here. Everyone is either excitedly talking to each other, every now and then pointing up towards the flat spot of the obsidian tower, and kind of these big kind of smiles on their faces, and they all look exhausted. They all look tired, like they've been coming from all over Marquet to get to this pilgrimage point.
This unfortunately ruins my plan because I was going to. Y'all remember that TikTok of the New York rat, like just
The pizza rat.
frolicking in the rain to Unwritten? I was gonna have Scrat strip his cloak off and just do that, like start washing himself and like just make as big a scene as possible, and then like steal a robe and just kind of blend in. But that's not gonna work, so I guess I'm just tagging along.
So Zordon, as you see Scrat setting out vessels to collect water, and he's just got his hands on his hips, like looking at the crowd, disappointed, kind of a disappointment look on his face. You watch as Desmond goes running over and throws his arms around Puck. And the two of them kind of quickly embrace, and they're having a slight conversation. And you hear the Seeker alongside you go, an obvious sign. A pilgrim here knows your friend. That couldn't be more than a sign of assurance that they should become a seeker as well.
Desmond had a feeling that all of those peoples had valuables and were asked to put them somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Including Puck. And Desmond would like to find out where they put those valuables for research reasons.
Yeah.
So Desmond is gonna try to ask Puck, "Oh, you had this really cool armor and like all those things. Where did you put them? I need to put my stuff if I'm gonna wear those cool clothes."
Quiet, you idiot. I'm in disguise.
Oh shit. Okay. Yes. Why are you in disguise?
Because I want to see who this fucking caretaker is.
Oh, the cult leader. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
It's got to be a cult leader, right? It's got to be. None of this makes any sense. These people are out here without any money. They barely have any food or water.
She reaches in underneath the white garment. She pulls out a bottle and drinks from it. And you smell the heavy alcohol coming off of her breath.
Do you have maybe a sense of where they might have put their valuables? If it's either like maybe someplace that the cult leaders.
I haven't even thought about that. I'm so stinking rich. I didn't even think about that. But that's a good point.
I think I'm in love. Am I flushing? This is wow. I can't believe this is happening.
So, Zordon, as you're watching Desmond and Puck quietly talk to each other, Scrat setting out little vessels to collect the water, what are you doing with your time?
I'm scouring. I'm looking for where this ceremony is supposed to take place because
give me a perception check as you look around. Yeah.
That's a nat 1 for a 9.
Yeah. You don't see a spot for it. It's too crowded. And you're not really sure where it might be located. It's almost as if everyone's waiting for something to get started or like waiting for something to happen.
You know, Seeker.
Yes, dear boy.
Do you ever remove your amulet?
I have no reason to. That'd be like removing my faith.
I mean, if you were to meet another convert and want to share the faith, you could certainly come back here and get a new one, right? You know where to go, but...
No, once you've been chosen by the caretaker, you must always wear your faith, your proven faith.
So
surely one could try, and I'm going to just try and cup the amulet. Okay. I'm not even going to try and take it off, but I'm just like hold it in my hand.
As you get close to it to try to take it, you feel this intense cold sensation begin to build, and you can see little edges of blisters on your fingers, but you kind of pull your hand away.
Is that normal?
I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. No one's ever tried to take my object of faith or even examine it to the touch. You watch as the seeker brings his hand up and holds the amulet out with his own hands, perfectly normal. Not sure why that happened to you, dear boy. I do apologize.
While he's got his, the seeker's got it in his hand. Did Scrat see this with Sorsen trying to suggest...
Oh yeah, he did it right in the open. So yeah, you see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to steal it. I was actually being... Right. Yeah.
I see what you're trying to do. I got you. I'm going to take aim. I'm going to try to shoot the cord that's connecting it to his neck and just try to have it so it falls off.
Perhaps no. Look,
nope.
Scrat. Can you count? Are you that intelligent? Do you see how many people are around here?
Yeah, and they don't want anything and they're unarmed.
Yes, do it. Do the impulsive choice.
Okay. For what it's worth, Seeker, I know nothing of this.
No, nothing of what? Go ahead and roll, Scrat.
Let me see what my... Because actually my regular roll musket is at the bottom. So it is a +8 to hit.
Hopefully it's better than my perception roll. A big fat 1.
That is a 19 to hit.
19. It not only hits where you were aiming, but you needed a natural 20 to call that shot. So it hits his neck and the necklace. Just like that, he's gone.
It's almost like Scrat knew he fucked up, and he just
He's like,
fled.
"I'm outta here."
Hold on out.
I wonder if the cat was walking across his
Yep. I mean, the cat had been sitting in his lap.
right, probably walked right across his laptop. Either that or his laptop died, which would be absolutely hysterical.
Yep, even funnier.
Kitty.
Yep, I was the kitty.
That's
Go ahead and roll for damage, if you would, please, Scrat. Roll for damage. You shot it.
Oh.
Yeah, you shot. You pulled the trigger. Roll for
you
damage.
hit him in the neck.
Got him in the neck. Nice. Okay, so what is that? 1d12
Oh,
plus
it's
5.
not
Jesus.
It's terrible.
Awful. And it's really high. It's 26.
So as the seeker goes, not responsible for what, and like looks at what you're staring, you watch as the muzzle flash goes off, and there's just a bloody stump where the guy's head used to be. It's just gone.
I got you, Jrusar. Now grab it.
And then the corpse just falls to the ground with kind of
Oh, no.
blood and viscera kind of like draining out. Desmond, you and Puck look over and like, oh fuck! Like you can hear Puck go, oh shit! You watch as thousands of heads turn towards Scrat, who just pulled the trigger, and they just descend on him, just like, just go to like hundreds of them, just like start grabbing at him, and so this is gonna be virtually impossible for you to escape, Scrat.
I'm going to try to
But-
burrow underground.
I'm going to give you an opportunity here. Give me acrobatics or athletics.
Oh, acrobatics, 100%.
Okay.
So, all right. Start.
I'll roll for the mob.
That is a 24.
24. The mob tries to descend down on you, but you burrow into the ground. And you're now using the first couple feet of the sand and cratered rock area to kind of keep yourself moving about and hidden. Zordon, as you're staring at the dead body of the Seeker, you watch as a little rat hand comes out of the ground, feeling around. Give me a sleight of hand, Scrat, if you would, please.
Okay. I think I had pretty high sleight of hand. Plus, Scrat would have made a really good thief. Oh, that's a 26.
26. You watch this little rat hand comes out of the ground, grabs onto the necklace, pulls it into the ground. And then you lose track of Scrat.
Wow.
You're not sure where he went. But the crowd is shifting and ebbing as if trying to find where he might have gone.
I am going to just kind of back away slowly, but I assume my back is towards the monument right now, or towards the
Correct.
tower.
Yeah, towards the big
So
obsidian.
I'm
You actually
I'm backing
find
away, but backing towards the tower.
Yeah, you kind of bump into both Desmond and Puck. And Puck's like, what the fuck is wrong with your friend? Why the fuck did he do that?
He's fucking crazy. Let's make good use of the situation and get inside.
And it's at that point, because of the crowd ebbing towards the violence, a tall series of stairs carved neatly into the base of the obsidian tower. You can see it's now exposed. It's maybe 100 feet of flighted stairs that seem to lead up towards a dais or a platform. You can see huge stone braziers that are lit with huge flames coming off the braziers. You get the feeling that might have been what the Seeker was talking about, that people would ascend those stairs, get up to the platform, and then receive their vestments and their faith by the caretaker.
So I'm going to try and be more stealthy about the approach. Rather than just run straight up the stairs, I'm going to wild shape into a spider.
Okay.
And go to like start trying to go up the sides.
As you get to the first stair, Desmond, you and Puck watch as Zordon is suddenly unfolded and turn back into his regular form.
That was uncomfortable. That was very uncomfortable.
The magic that you would normally experience in your mind as a preparation of casting your magic
Mhm.
suddenly falls away from you. There's some kind of anti-magic effect in this immediate area.
Well, this is going to be difficult. Normally, I don't like the straightforward approach, but I believe we have no real choice now.
Desmond kind of just like does deuces and then walks to the side and is going to try to find another way in because he's not doing this.
Yeah, give me a perception as you look around.
Why must my characters be so low on the intelligence scale?
Perception is wisdom.
Oh, well, -1 to wisdom.
That'll do it.
I mean, I'm super perceptive. I just can't roll for shit. So
That's a 4.
Pretty much at this point, the only egress up into this tower seems to be these stairs. Everything else that's down below is just old, abandoned, fractured, collapsed in rubble of maybe what this place used to be connected to.
Are there any windows?
Not really. No, not any. Like the tower itself is just sheer black obsidian rock with the occasional brazier sticking out of the side of it. The main access just seems to be these stairs that lead up to that huge platform.
I'm gonna turn back and see if I can find any windows that I can crawl out of and then just kind of scale my way up.
Do what now?
Scale?
You want to try to climb the tower?
Yeah, if I'm gonna be a thief, I might as well use the few things that a thief can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfectly smooth surface, so there are hand and footholds. Zordon, you and Puck watch as Desmond attempts to climb the side of the flat structure away from the stairs. Give me athletics or acrobatics, Desmond, as you begin to try to climb.
Okay, and I do have not sneak attack.
It's raining, so this is going to be a disadvantage
That
because
makes
of the
sense.
water and the slick surface.
I do have I'm gonna see if any of this helps at all. I do have a lot of like extra grapple stuff. I have fast hands and cunning action.
We'll say fast hands gives you advantage. It's raining because it's disadvantage. So we'll say you have a regular roll to try to climb the sheer side of the tower.
Yeah, and I do have thief's tools and a prisoner's kit. Can I use them to kind of like help me a little bit?
Thieves' tools are for getting indoors. The prisoner's kit is more to help you if you find yourself in a situation where you're in lockup or you're captured. Those don't feel like they'd be a help. I'll say you do have some climbing gear. So with your climbing gear, I'll lower the DC on this roll.
Yes. I also have some poisoning tools. Can I poison the walls?
No, they're pretty much
And that's 20. That's a 31.
Nice.
yeah.
Zordon,
Sweet,
you and
that's
Buck,
20 tonight.
you just watch as Desmond goes over. He's got these weird climbing grapple hooks, and he's now just slowly climbing up in the rain, the side of the obsidian tower, up as high. It just keeps climbing and climbing. Puck just looks, goes, holy shit, I'm just going to go up the stairs. By the way, I don't know if you noticed that there's no magic here, but, well, yeah, you were a spider and then you're back to being a druid. Of course, you know. Anyways, see you up there. And you just watch as Puck is just kind of like free walking up the stairs, she's short, so it's just a little bit of an extra effort for her to get up there. Scrap, while they're all over by the tower and you're underground avoiding everybody, we'll say you outrun the mob at one point, and you circle back towards where the dead seeker was, and with your other hand, you pull the clothing off the seeker's body and down into the shallows of the soil, and you kind of wiggle your way into it. You kind of put the charm around your neck. You come out of the surface, and you're now like blending in. Give me a deception check, if you would, please.
All right. What is my deception? Actually, believe it or not, Scred is not good at deception at all.
The almost perfect thief, except
I mean,
for
I
one
believe it.
thing.
Oh,
I believe
God.
it.
I
What'd you
rolled.
get?
I got a 17. 17.
17? Oh,
Uh-huh.
shit, that's still pretty fucking good.
Yeah, my deception is +1.
You look over to where the mob is chasing something. You don't know what they're chasing. But as you stand there in the edge of the robes, collar is a little blood soaked, but you kind of, you use the orange shawl to kind of cover it up, and the medallion doesn't seem to have any kind of feeling to it when you wear it. Doesn't seem to have any kind of effect on you. And you can see where Zordon and Puck are standing over by the obsidian stairs, and and Puck is now climbing the stairs and slowly moving up the sheer side of the tower. You can see Desmond's silhouette, like hand over hand, foot over foot, like climbing up the side of the tower.
I want to head towards the obsidian stairs. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to like. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, just because I can see it being confusing. I don't want to. No. I'm trying to, like. I don't want to be like cartoon nonchalant, like whistling. But it's like I'm just kind of moving at a slightly quicker than normal pace. Like, oh well, I should get up there and see what these people are doing. But I'm not running. I'm not like sneaking. I'm just kind of.
Well, walk casual.
Yeah,
Why casual?
Casual.
Yeah. So Zordon, you watch as a person wearing the clothing of the Seekers just kind of quickly walks by you, but they have a little bit of a mouse whisker hanging out and a little bit of a familiar smell about them as you watch Scrat just turn and smile at you and then kind of continue walking up the stairs.
I don't like this at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I while like I'm watching this happen, I'm gonna cast detect magic again. Like I'm like step back out of range, cast detect magic, and try and see if I can't recognize maybe where this anti-magicness is emanating from. Is it
Well,
just
the problem
building
is detect
itself,
magic
or-
is like a bubble effect.
Yeah.
So as soon as it comes in contact with the edge of the obsidian stairs, it almost kind of folds away. Like the
Yeah.
anti-magic is like so powerful. There's no sense of direction. It's just like emanating from the tower itself.
That was kind of the point. Was it's emanating from the tower, or is it coming from a central point? It seems like it's coming.
Feels
from the
like it's coming from the tower.
Okay. Okay. All right. And like I psych myself up and start walking up there. I don't like being in there and not being able to do magic at all.
So Desmond, you can now see Zordon, another small figure wearing white and orange vestments, and you can see Puck in her white and orange vestments. There's three figures walking up the stairs. You're kind of going up the sheer side of the tower, able to see them walking up the stairs. Are you heading towards the flat platform, or are you trying to get to the very top of the tower?
I'm gonna try to get to the top and just
Okay.
like keep an eye open to any other figures, or maybe a room that looks like it's filled with a cartoonish amount of gold.
Okay. Give me another athletics or acrobatics to continue
Can't
the
I
climb.
just ride the high of the 31 from before?
No, unfortunately not. It's a series of skill checks to get to the very top because the tower is 400 feet tall.
Can I just like using the climbing rope anchor myself so if I fall, I don't fall, all the way to the ground?
I'll say you can give yourself 50 feet of falling distance where it will catch you and prevent you from falling any further than 50 feet. But you'll have to
Okay.
repeat that like every 50 feet that you go up towards the top of the tower to prevent that from happening.
It's worth it.
Okay.
That's 18.
18. You continue to scale upwards. You use the rope and you scale and you use the rope as now you're way above the platform. And looking down, you can see the 4 stone braziers heavily lit and with charcoal-like stone in them, giving off this amazing boiling orange color of flame coming off of them. You can also see that there's a big archway and just an empty space beyond the archway, but you've found no windows, no egress to look inside. You're now continuing to scale and continuing to scale. Give me another athletics or acrobatics check as you continue up the side of the tower.
Oof, 29.
Nice. You continue and you continue, and now you're at that final 100 feet. That last 100 feet to get up to the top of the tower and the flat of the tower. Give me one last check.
I feel like you keep adding checks.
No, it's a check every 400 feet or every 100 feet. So you're on your final 100-foot check.
Fair. That's 17.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. I had the DC at 15 the whole way up.
Oh, poof.
But because you decide to use the rope and anchor yourself after each attempt, it took you longer to get up. But you finally just, for purposes of making sure you're not getting exhausted, give me a Constitution save, if you would, please.
Constitution save?
Yep.
15.
15. You do not take any exhaustion. You make it to the top of the flat of the tower. As you pull yourself onto the top of the flat of the tower, it's massive. And in the very center of the tower, you can see a round kind of metal door in the center of the tower. It's flat, like a trapdoor would be flat. You wander over to it, and it's maybe 8 feet in diameter with a spin wheel in the middle of it. Looks like maybe if you were to hand crank that wheel, it might open up the door.
Are there any other entry points?
It's the only one that you can see.
I'm gonna kind of again anchor myself to the ground with some rope to make sure that if something happens,
You got a climbing spike and you hammer it into the rock and tie it off and tie it around your waist.
yeah, I guess. Or actually, I have mold earth. Can I use that to kind of create another opening in the stone?
You could certainly try, yeah. Oh, no, you can't. That's magic.
Oh, does it also not work outside?
Well, no magic works when you're in contact with the tower.
Okay, that makes sense. Even though it's cantrip?
Cantrip is still magic.
Well, worth a try. I also have a dagger. And then can I see if there's like any weak point in stone that I can maybe chip at just to kind of get a look inside?
Sure. Give me a strength check as you kind of chip away at the rock near the edge of the round door.
11.
11. The blade kind of bends a little bit. Like this surface is really hard and really difficult to chip away at.
Well, I guess I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna try to be as stealthy as I can possibly be. Or actually, maybe I can use... I'm gonna try and use fast hands to kind of like disarm a trap or open lock, take cues and objects.
I'll say if you, to open up the door, you have to spin the wheel. So I'll say you can have advantage on your strength check to open up the door.
Okay. And again, just trying to be stealthy.
Oh, I know you very well, Tally. You've used every square inch of your character sheet.
My first one was a nat 20, so it's a 22.
Nice.
What the fuck? Where has this been all my life?
Yeah, you begin to crank the wheel,
You've just been playing the wrong character.
And you hear like a clicking sound. And as you step away, you watch as the round door slowly opens up. And this bright reflection of metallic yellow begins to emanate from the interior.
Gold.
As you look down, into the largest hoard of coin, treasure, and wealth that you've ever seen. It seems like this
Yippee!
entire obsidian tower must be filled with the wealth of thousands of people that have come here and discarded their wealth. As you're up there imagining and looking down on this, Zordon, you, Scrat, and Puck make it to the landing. And as you get up to the landing, a 20-foot tall by 18-foot wide archway in front of you with this intense darkness that you cannot see into at all. You can see the 4 braziers lit on either side of you, and the reflection of these braziers are just being absorbed by the heavy darkness of the entryway. And you hear a voice boom from the interior of the archway. Those who do not wear vestments of the caretaker, step forward. You feel Scrat and Puck kind of shoulder you forward a little bit, like they're like, and they take a step back and just.
I'll approach, but I'll have my hand back on my staff, like I'll have my staff out, like I'm using it to walk. Yeah.
As you approach the front of the archway, you feel your spells return to you. You feel the natural nature of your spells return to your mind. Any magical items you carry, you would notice their reestablishment.
Yeah.
And you realize that you're now in an area that seems to allow magic to work. You watch as this shadowy form wavers in the archway looking at you as this voice continues to beam out towards you.
Am I, like, with dark vision, am I able to see?
No, which tells you the reason why you can't see. It's probably a darkness spell.
Yep.
And that also would mean why you could get the feeling that magic works here. You see a silhouette of an individual wavering in the darkness, just like this blurry liquid form. Are you prepared to become a seeker? Give up your worldly possessions and accept the vestments and the marking of a seeker.
Actually, no. Seeking, not really my thing. Why are you hiding in darkness?
Why have you ascended the stairs in the accompaniment of 2 additional seekers? What is the meaning of this heresy?
I'm going to cast Moonbeam,
Okay.
and try to center it at the darkness.
Okay. That's a wisdom save, right?
Yep. No, con 16.
On. As you center the moonbeam in the darkness, you hear this shriek of pain from the figure in the darkness. Go ahead and roll for damage, if you would, please.
Yep. Just a second. My gremlins are playing with my die right now, and I got to see
Well,
what the die are for that one. That's it's 2d10. Okay, so there's one. Hang on, give me that. That is that's 15. 15. Yeah, just 15. Sorry, 15 radiant damage.
There's this big booming voice that comes out of the archway, as if in a kind of intense kind of pain. You feel the dais begin to tremble, and the rocks begin to crack. You watch as the stairs begin to crack behind you. Puck and Scrat. Puck yells, "You damn fool!" She pulls off her shawl. "The place is collapsing. Get out of there!" And starts yelling at you to run.
I'm still trying to figure out what this thing is or was. And did the moonbeam hitting it cause anything to affect the darkness, or is it still hidden?
No effect to the darkness. You just heard that shriek of pain, and now the rock is beginning to tremble and rumble underneath your feet. you watch as a chunk of rock falls right by you, down into the distant crater down below.
It didn't have to be like this.
You
Now, again,
bring heresy to the caretaker's doorstep. You will be destroyed.
And this huge explosion of energy as you look up to see huge shards of rock falling away from the tower. Desmond, up top, you're now feeling the extension of the quake reaching you up top. You watch as the door slams shut.
No!
You watch as fissures in the top of the tower begin to expand and open up around you as you're now looking down into a 100-foot drop down into this vault of wealth. And you're watching as the edges of the tower are cracking and falling away down below. Scrat, what are you doing at this point?
I'm going to use Sorzen, casting Moonbeam. I know you said that it's not illuminated, so I'm going to try to center. I'm going to take a shot at it with one of my rifles.
You can hear the screaming, so you can take a shot with disadvantage if you want to.
Okay, I was actually going to see one other thing, because it's... Where is the...
Because you can't see into magical darkness.
Okay. Where is it?
Especially this magical darkness.
I'm trying to find what one of the traits that I don't have right now is. How far away are we from it? Because I'm curious if I could do a sneak attack.
It's aware of your presence. You definitely would not have sneak attack on it.
Okay. All right.
If you're just shooting into the darkness, it's at disadvantage.
All right. Here's what I was going for. I know you said it's not illuminating it, but presumably the moonbeam is visible, and then from where it's coming
actually
down
the
from
moonbeam is not visible because it was absorbed by the magical darkness. All you heard was a shriek of pain that the creature was hit, and the sense that Zordan's look of connection with the spell was successful, but there's nothing that you can see to shoot at. It's just this dark silhouette that blurs and doesn't really give you a solidified target.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just yell something like, Seeker! It's like, I'll try to, it's like, I'm there for you! And I'll just roll forward and try to take a pot shot at where I think, my best guess, it's centered with my acid rifle.
Yeah, give me a shot with your acid rifle at disadvantage.
All right, let me do this because I'm having to do two at the same time. Okay, so that is... Oh, it had to be at disadvantage because that would have been really good. I think it's a +8. That is a 17.
17. As your acid rifle goes off, you watch as the blast disappears into the darkness. You hear this heavy kind of grunt sound. And go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay. That would be 12. 7 of it is... Wait a minute, is it? 2d. Okay, it's all acid damage, so never mind. Ignore that.
Okay, so 12 points of acid damage. You guys watch as a figure begins to solidify. The earthquakes begin to become more intense. And you watch as the darkness veil begins to shift open. Desmond, I need you to make a dex save up on the very top of the tower.
I have reaction uncanny dodge, which if I uncanny dodge when in attack. Okay, well that's an attacker. Yeah, I tried. Is it a dex save?
Yep, simple old dex save.
20.
20.
Nice.
You're using the fractured rock to keep you on your feet, but the top of the tower is decaying underneath your feet. As you're shifting and moving, you get to the edge of the tower to look down in the direction that you had climbed up. And as you look down, you can see on the dais down below you, you can see where Zordan, Puck, and Scrat are kind of making a stand on the dais. And they're looking at the archway, and this figure begins to kind of slowly emerge from the archway. But the tower is becoming more and more unstable underneath your feet. Zordon and Scrap, give me deck saves if you would, as chunks of rock and rubble are falling down all around you.
That's a 21.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a 1 at first, and because I'm looking at
unnatural 20. Unnatural
20. You guys managed to dodge most of the debris, but each of you will take half of 12 points of bludgeoning damage as chunks of the rock do manage to collide with you. And then strolling out of the dark archway, you see a figure. A gleam of metal in its eye. A scent of a kind of augmented figure with metal lattice work into his face, a piston-like leg that he's kind of walking forward. You can see pistols across his chest. You can see a rapier at his side as he begins to kind of limp out of the archway. And he looks at the three of you, pulls out his rapier, pulls out a pistol. You will all die for this heresy. And that's where we're going to finish tonight.
You can't do this. It's
You
not
certainly
fair.
look like you've seen better days.
Mason is back, baby. And Puck certainly recognizes him. So the next time when it's the three of us, it's going to be the battle with Mason at the Obsidian Tower. Or it could just be you guys running away, because he is still pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us for this one shot. We will be off next Sunday. We will not be on, so I will be out of town in Arizona. But we will be back on the 23rd, I believe. Everyone should be good for the 23rd. Correct? So we'll be back for the 23rd. Other than that, be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game. Everyone else hang out and we'll chat. Good night, everybody.